Hare Krishna, once again. Welcome everyone for this morning Bhagavatam discussion. My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees here, all the senior devotees here. I seek blessing of all of you, so I may be able to speak something meaningful for my own purification. I have no qualification, I have no realization, just doing this little service for my own purification. So I know great devotees are assembled here, very senior Vaishnavas, so please bless me. Today we are discussing text number 7. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudhirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati. So we are reading Canto 6, Chapter 16, text number 7. नित्यास्यार्थस्य संबंधो है अनित्यो दृश्यते नृषु यावद्यस्य हि संबंधो मामात्वं तद्वद् एव हि नित्यस्यार्थ संबंधो है अनित्यो दृश्यते नृषु यावद्यस्य हि संबंधो मामत्वं तद्वद् एव हि नित्यसार्थस्य संबंधो हानित्यो दृश्यते नृषु यावद्यस्य हि संबंधो ममत्वं तावदेव हि नित्यसार्थस्य संबंधो हैनित्यो दृश्यते नृषु यावद्यस्य हि संबंधो ममत्वं तावदेव हि नित्यसार्थस्य संबंधो हैनित्यो दृश्यते नृषु यावद्यस्य हि संबंधो ममत्वं तावदेव हि नित्यसार्थस्य संबंधो हैनित्यो दृश्यते नृषु यावद्यस्य हि संबंधो ममत्वं तावदेव हि नित्यसार्थस्य संबंधो हनित्यो दृश्यते नृषु यावद्यस्य हि संबंधो ममत्वं तावदेव हि नित्यसार्थस्य संबंधो यावद्यस्य हि संबंधो word by word. Nityasya of the eternal, arthasya thing, sambandha relationship. He, indeed, anitya, temporary, drishyate, is seen, nrishu, in human society, yavat, as long as, yasya, of whom, he, indeed, sambandha, relationship, mamatvam, ownership, tavat, that long, eva, indeed, he, certainly. Translation by His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. A few living entities are born in the human species and others are born as animals. Although both are living entities, their relationships are impermanent. As animal may remain in the custody of human being for some time, and then the same animal may be transferred to the possession of other human beings. As soon as the animal goes away, the former proprietor no longer has a sense of ownership. As long as the animal is in his possession, he certainly has an affinity for it. But as soon as the animal is sold, the affinity is lost. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Aside from the fact that soul transmigrates from one body to another, even in this life, the relationship between the living entities are impermanent. As exemplified in this verse, the son of Chitraketu was named Harshashoka, or jubilation and lamentation. The living is certainly eternal, but because he is covered by a temporary dress, the body, his eternity is not observed. Dehino asmin yatha dehe komaram yovanam jara. The embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age. Thus the bodily dress is impermanent. The living entity, however, is permanent. As an animal is transformed from one owner to another, the living entity, who was the son of Chitraketu, lived as his son for some time. But as soon as he was transferred to another body, the affectionate relationship was broken. As stated in the example given in this previous verse, when one has a commodity in his hands, he considers it his. But as soon as it is transferred, it becomes someone else's commodity. Then one no longer has a relationship with it. He has no affection for it, nor does he lament for it. So, reading the translation one more time. A few living entities are born in the human species, and others are born as animals. Although both are living entities, their relationships are impermanent. An animal may remain in the custody of a human being for some time, and then the same animal may be transferred to the possession of other human being. As soon as the animal goes away, the former proprietor no longer has a sense of ownership. As long as the animal is in his possession, he certainly has an affinity for it. But as soon as the animal is sold, the affinity is lost. Hare Krishna. So, we are reading from Canto 6, Chapter 16. And the chapter is titled as King Chitraketu Meets the Supreme Lord. So, this pastime of Maharaj Chitraketu has been described here in the previous chapter and this chapter. Everybody has heard the pastime of Maharaj Chitraketu. Anybody who does not know this pastime, this story of King Chitraketu? Anybody here? So, okay, couple of people, couple of devotees do not know. I will briefly mention the story of King Chitraketu before we enter further into the discussion based on this particular verse. So King Chitraketu, he had many wives, but he did not have any son, any child. And King Chitraketu was lamenting for not having any child, particularly any son, even though he had all the opulences in the world. He has great palaces, great possessions, so many wives, a huge kingdom, but still he did not have a son. He was feeling that lamentation. And once Narada Muni happens to visit King Chitraketu, And seeing the lamentation of King Chitraketu, Narad Muni asked, why are you so upset even though having all these opulences? And King Chitraketu said, what is the use of all these opulences? I do not have any son. Who will do the final rites? Who will do the Shraddha Kriya for me? I want a son. So long Narad Muni tried to convince in everything. Everybody gets in their life based on their karma, based on the providence. So you should not lament. But King Chitraketu, he was under so much depression, so much lamentation, and finally he was blessed to have a son. But he was told, this son will be the cause of your happiness also, and the same son will become the cause of your lamentation also. That's why the child was named as Harsha Shok. Harsha means happiness, Shok means lamentation, misery. So King Chitraketu thought, he will be the cause of my happiness and some misery. Maybe he will be little naughty. He will give me little pain. He will be very demanding. That's okay. At least I will have a son. So King Chitraketu, through his one of the wives, he had one son. But as the son was born, King Chitraketu became too attached. Now he is spending most of his time with that particular queen who gave birth to this child, and he was spending the time with the child, and all other queens became envy of this particular queen and the child, because they are thinking now king is not paying any attention to them, he is not taking care of them properly, not spending any time with them. So they made a plan. They said, we are not able to conceive any child, why somebody else should take all the credit, all the glory, let's kill this child. So this is the nature of envy in this material world. People are not miserable by seeing because of their own misery, but they are more miserable by seeing the happiness of others. लोग संसार में उस बात से दुखी नहीं है कि उनका खुद का दुख है, पर उस बात से दुखी है कि दूसरा क्यों सुखी है. So they made a plan to poison that small child. So one day they poisoned, the child was killed. As soon as the king came to know about this news, the child is motionless, the child is dead. He was under great distress, great lamentation. He was thinking, I got this child after so long, and now that child is again dead at such a young, small age. So when he was lamenting like this, again Narad Muni appeared there on the scene. Narad Muni tried to convince the living entity in this material world, they come based on their own due course of time. They have their particular life duration. So your son, he had this much life duration, he has gone to the next life. But King Chitraketu was not able to understand. He was not able to come out of his lamentation. And finally, what did Narad Muni do? He brought the child back, the soul of that child back into the body. And as the son, he sat up. Narad Muni said, see, your father, your mother, they are lamenting so much. And the child, now he started giving this discourse. So the verse which we are speaking today, that is spoken by that child, the son of Maharaj Chitraketu. He is speaking on Atmagyan. He is speaking, as soon as the child came back and Narad Muni told, your father, your mother, they are lamenting so much. The child said, which father? Which mother? I have had so many lifetimes, and in all these different lifetimes, I had so many different fathers, so many different mothers. Which particular lifetime you are talking about? Which father, which mother are you talking about? And now coming to this particular verse, so just giving a brief description of this whole storyline. So coming to this particular verse is describing, the child is speaking, the living entities are born in human species and other are born in animal, and we develop relationship with each other. But these relationships are temporary. These relationships are not eternal. First of all, this body is not eternal. As in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna, Dehino asmin yatha dehe kumaram yovanam jara tatha dehantarah praptir dhiras tatra namuhyate. A sober person is not bewildered by a change. What is that change? The soul within this body comes from the childhood to youth to old age. And when this life is finished, the soul enters into another body. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. As we give up the old garments and put on the new garments, same way the soul gives up the old body and puts on a new body, accepts a new body. And in the life, we develop different relationships. So here one particular example is quoted in this verse, that somebody has an animal in their possession. For example, somebody is selling animals. So they have an animal in their possession for some time, but then further they sell that animal to some other customer. The animal now becomes the property of the new owner. The previous owner does not have any ownership, any proprietorship on that animal. So that relationship which was formed was for a small duration. And in our life also we can understand all these relationships which we develop, they are temporary. For example, when we were in our childhood, when we were in school, we had some particular friends in our elementary school, in our middle school. Those friends may not be there around us now, right? जब हम चौथी पांचवी कक्षा में थे, so we have certain friends. How many of those children, how many of those friends are with us now? When we were in college, we made particular friends. We had certain relationships. How many of those are with us now anymore? So these relationships develop so many friendship in this lifetime, but as we move forward in life, we relocate to different locations. We make new friendship, new relationship, new social circle. Another example is when we are traveling in the train. For example, I get in train from Barnala, from Punjab to come to Delhi. As we sit in the train, there may be some other people sitting around, and we start to talk with each other. Maybe we develop some friendship, we develop some relationship, we exchange some numbers. We exchange some food also on the train maybe. But then along the journey, different stations come, people get out at their particular station, some new people again get in the train. So during that journey also, we make new friends, we come in contact with different people, but that relationship is very short. Same way, sometime when the wind blows, the wind brings two blades of grasses together. हवा का एक झोंका आया तो दो घास के तिनके आपस में आके टकराए, आपस में जुड़े. So they came in contact for certain time, but then again another blow of wind comes and separates blade of grass. So same way in our life, we develop so many different relationships. We come in contact with so many people. And again, in due course of time, those relationships are lost. Nature of this world. What is the nature of this world? We develop attachments. जो बोलते हैं मोह माया का जाल. So we develop so many attachments in this lifetime. And what are the type of attachment we develop? Somebody has the biggest attachment, the biggest maya we have is attachment to our own body. We think this body is all in all, this body is going to give me so much pleasure, my senses are going to give me so much pleasure. So first illusion, पहला माया का प्रभाव क्या है? We think I am this body. That's why Prabhupada in his lectures, he will speak so elaborately. Mostly Prabhupada will start or he will talk on, we are not the body, we are the soul. हम ये शरीर नहीं है, हम आत्मा हैं. And when Prabhupada is speaking this particular point, we are not the body, I am not the body, I am the spirit soul. Some of the disciples start thinking, maybe Swamiji is not the body, he is the soul, but we are the body. Because this illusion is so strong, this maya is so strong, we think this body is going to give me pleasure. And we spend so much time in taking care of this body, neglecting the needs of the soul. We take so much care of this body, try to give so much comfort to this body. The biggest advantage of this human life, this human body is, this is a rare opportunity, and by getting this human form of life, we should utilize this human form to get the ultimate goal of life. And what is that ultimate goal of life? To develop love of Krishna, Krishna Prem. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. One should inquire, who am I? What is the purpose of my life? The creator of this whole creation. What is my relationship with that person? Why there is misery in this life? I do not want this misery, but still why I am forced to get this misery? One should inquire about these things by getting this human form of life. Durlabham Manushyam Deham. This human form of life is very rare. So it's a great fortune to get this form after wandering through 8.4 million species of life. 84 लाख योनियों में भटकने के बाद ये मनुष्य शरीर प्राप्त हुआ. So we should utilize this human life for the best purpose. But still we are so attached to this body, we try to give comfort. And after getting the human form of life, what is the bigger fortune than that? Yes, human life is a great fortune, but bigger fortune that human life is to come in association of devotees. Tatra api durlabham manne vaikuntha priyadarshanam. Getting the association of devotees, to be able to come in contact, to see the devotees, that's even greater fortune. So one may come in contact with devotee one time, first time. So that is a great fortune. By coming in contact with devotee, we learn something. But even greater fortune, the greatest fortune is to come into that association, to stay in that association day after day after day. That is the greatest fortune. Because we know sometimes somebody may come in contact with a devotee. Devotees go on Harinam, they distribute book, they meet so many people. So these new people, they came in contact with devotee. So that was a great fortune. Because of the mercy of the Lord, they came in contact with devotee. Maybe they got a book. They get the opportunity to hear the holy name. But the greatest fortune is to be in that association again and again and again. Great fortune is to get this human form of life. The greater fortune is if we get the opportunity to go to the holy place. ये मनुष्य शरीर प्राप्त करके अगर हमें धाम जाने का अवसर मिला, that is a greater fortune. If somebody is fortunate enough, they get the opportunity to visit the holy dham, Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri, Mayapur, Ayodhya Dham. So they get this opportunity to visit so many different holy places. But they had the fortune to visit dham. But after visiting dham, if somebody is just sleeping there in the morning hours, sleeping till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, then what is of that visiting the holy dham? Yes, it was great fortune, they visited, but still they are missing that opportunity. So the fortune of human body is to utilize it in understanding who we are, what is my relationship with the Supreme Lord, to develop that love for the Supreme Lord. So the biggest one of the illusion, Maya, the attachment is with this own body. The next attachment is with the people related to this body. Like my spouse, my children, my father, my mother. So all these people who are related to this body, we think they are my own. And we spend so much time with all these different relationships. And another attachment is, people have attachment with land. एक तो शरीर के साथ आसक्ति, फिर दूसरा आसक्ति इस शरीर से संबंधित लोगों के साथ, तीसरा आसक्ति जमीन के साथ, वसुधा, the attachment with land. The people get so attached to their land, to their homes, they are not able to leave their home to visit the holy place. I have come across so many people, so many relatives. जैसे आपको हम यात्रा पे ले चलते हैं, वृंदावन धाम ले चलते हैं, मायापुर ले चलते हैं, बोलते हैं घर का ध्यान कौन रखेगा? If we leave the home for 4 days, who will take care of the home? Even though somebody is so sick at their old age, the attachment, that asakti, the attachment with the home, with the land doesn't go away. They're so attached. Somebody is in the hospital ICU and thinking about who is taking care of my home. Is the maid coming at home, brooming the home? घर पे आके सफाई करके जा रही है कि नहीं, कोई ध्यान रख रहा है कि नहीं घर का? So that is the situation. That is the level of attachment. The next level of attachment one have is with the land, then with the wealth. We think my wealth will take care of me. I need to collect so much wealth so I can leave for my next generations. I have to collect so much wealth so in my old age this wealth will take care of me. This wealth will support me. If I get sick, this wealth will be helpful in getting the cure for that disease. So people have so much attachment to their wealth, to their possessions, to their cars. So all these are the different level of attachments one develop in this lifetime. Not understanding that this body is temporary. At the last time we will leave aside everything. We have to quit everything and we have to enter into another body. And entering into the another body, at that time it will depend on the level of consciousness. We have a classic example of Bharat Maharaj, which we read the pastime of Maharaj Bharat from the Bhagavatam. Bharat Maharaj, he gave up everything. He gave up his kingdom, all his opulences. He gave up his family, his wife, his children, and he came into the forest. See, Bharat Maharaj, he was not looking for any glorification. He gave up everything. He was not looking for his own sense enjoyment. He gave up his palaces, his comforts. But as he was in the forest, he got attached to a deer. एक हिरण के साथ उनको आसक्ति हो गया. And because of that attachment to the deer, he had to enter into another body of a deer. So that level of attachment, that causes bondage in this material world. If somebody has so much attachment to their home, they may again be born into that environment, but no guarantee that one will be born as human being. Somebody may born as a cockroach and lizard in that same house, not as a human being. So as we come to spiritual life, as we start understanding from the Shastra, we know that my goal of life is to develop love for the Lord. We are participating in so many different activities. We are participating in chanting the holy name, hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, serving the lordships. But still, somewhere that attachment to these different things does not go away. Even when we are practicing spiritual life, somebody has given up so many different things, but then we get attached to other things. Somebody has given up all other social circle. When we are progressing in spiritual life, we are maybe trying to cultivate other devotees, then we get attached to that person. Oh, this person, I'm cultivating this person. This Prabhuji, this Mataji, I'm cultivating them. So we get attached to in that controllership mind, that proprietorship mind, that they belong to me. Somehow these many people are referring to me as Siksha Guru. So many different devotees are referring to me as their mentor. So that level of attachment comes. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Sikshashtakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadish kamaye, mama janmani janmani ishware bhavatad bhaktir hetuki tvai. Na dhanam, I do not want wealth. Na janam, I do not want birth in higher family. Na sundarim, I do not want association of beautiful woman. Somebody may think, okay, dhan bhi chhod diya, I have given up wealth, I have given up the desire for higher birth, I have given up desire of association of the worldly woman, beautiful woman, but let there be some fame. Kavitam va. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Kavitam va, there is no fame also, I do not desire any fame also. But somewhere we need to introspect. Are we really developing that detachment with all these different things? Sometime, I'm speaking for myself, as we are progressing in spiritual life, still somewhere some different attachment come, different attachment with name and fame, attachment with praise. So many people are following me, I have a YouTube channel, I have my Instagram, I have my Facebook, so many people are watching my videos, so many people are liking posts. All these, this is also another level of Maya, this is also another level of illusion. In Uddhava Gita, 11th canto, when Lord Krishna is speaking to Uddhava, Uddhava is telling Lord Krishna, as a grihastha, as a householder, even though somebody is trying to progress in spiritual life, still sometimes they get attached to their home, their families, even while practicing spiritual life. So Krishna is explaining to Uddhava, yes, that level of attachment is so deep that it's very difficult to give up that attachment. But as one is continuing to serve the Lordship, as one is continuing to hear the glories of the Lord, slowly, slowly one develops that detachment. So we need to absorb our mind in thinking about Lord, in hearing about the Lord, in speaking the glories of the Lord, in serving the Lord. In that way one can gradually develop that detachment. Otherwise, even though giving up home, giving up all the opulences, all the comfort, still one may get attached to something else. And there is another very deep pastime actually from the lifetime of Ramanujacharya, from the story of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya had so many brahmachari disciples, and Ramanujacharya had few grihastha disciples also, and one of them was Dhanurdas. Dhanurdas and Dhanurdas's wife Hemamba. Even though Dhanurdas is a grihastha, householder, Ramanujacharya had great affection for Dhanurdas. And all the brahmachari disciples of Ramanujacharya, they were feeling little envy. Why our Gurudev is showering so much affection to this grihastha devotee? We have renounced everything, we have given up everything, we are coming and staying in the ashram. And Dhanurdas, he is living with his wife in his home. So Ramanujacharya understood their mindset, and he wanted to teach them a lesson. One night, Ramanujacharya, as all these brahmacharis, they were still sleeping, and they had washed their clothes, their one pair of dhoti kurta, they have washed that and put on, hang them for drying. And Ramanujacharya at night, he took all these clothes and mixed up all these clothes. एक के कपड़े उठाए कहीं और टांग दिए, दूसरे के कपड़े उठाए कहीं और टांग दिए. So he mixed up all these clothes. In the morning, all these brahmacharis woke up, and they were trying to find their dhoti, their langot and everything, and they started quarreling with each other. Oh, this devotee, he has stolen my cloth, he has stolen my lungi, he has stolen my gamcha. And they started fighting with each other. And Ramanujacharya came there. He said, see, I did this thing to make you understand. You're thinking you're very detached, but you have become attached to this pair of dhoti kurta. That this belongs to me, this is mine. And then Ramanujacharya told them, he wanted to show them the glory of Dhanurdas also, who is happening to be a grihastha devotee. He told, see, in our ashram, we are lacking funds. There are not enough funds to run this ashram. And this Dhanurdas, he is grihastha, but he is not giving enough. He has a lot of wealth at his home. I want you to go when Dhanurdas is away from his home. His wife will be alone at home. At afternoon, she may be dozing off, maybe taking nap. You go at that time and you steal from his home. And this brahmacharis thought, steal? Our Guru Maharaj is asking us to steal. That's a sinful activity. How can we do that? Then no, you go there. I am ordering you, you go and just steal from his home. And I will take care of everything. And finally, these brahmacharis, they agreed. They went to the house of Dhanurdas when he was away. So Ramanujacharya actually told that I will call Dhanurdas to meet me. I will engage him in some discussion. At that time, you go at his home and just steal from his home. So these brahmacharis went to the home of Dhanurdas. His wife was sleeping. And they entered into the home and opened up the cabinet and started to steal. And they took out whatever was there in the cabinet, whatever little they could find. And they saw Dhanurdas's wife, Hemamba, she was wearing some gold jewelry on her body. In one arm, on the arm, she had some bangles. So she was laying on one side. They slowly took off the bangle from one side. And Hemamba, she noticed actually, and she was thinking, these are the disciples of our Gurudev, and why they are stealing? Maybe our Gurudev need money. His ashram does not have enough, his mutt does not have enough funds So I should help them. If I try to give myself, they may not be comfortable taking it. They may feel embarrassed. So I should help them. So she took turn on the other side so they can remove from the other side also. But these disciples of Ramanujacharya, these brahmacharis, they got afraid, thinking, oh, she has woke up now, she will start yelling, she will make noise and other people will come. So they, whatever they could have got, they took and ran away. So after they went and Ramanujacharya told Dhanurdas, now you go back home. So this Dhanurdas went home and his wife told what has happened. That our God brothers, the disciples of our Guru Maharaj, they came and they were trying to steal and I took the turn. And Dhanurdas said, you are fool number one. Why did you take turn? You should have let them steal whatever they could. Because you have so much attachment thinking, this is mine. This jewelry belongs to me. This is my wealth and I am giving. See, you are so attached. You should have just let them take whatever they could. Why did you disturb them and they got scared and ran away? So Hemamba was very ashamed. I was thinking this jewelry belonged to me. I am giving them. So Ramanujacharya had told his disciples, when this Dhanurdas goes back his home, you stay outside their kutir and hear their conversation and see what they are here, what talking. So all these brahmacharis, they heard the talk between Dhanurdas and Hemamba, that Dhanurdas is completely detached. He is saying, why didn't you let her take whatever they could? So they came back and reported to Ramanujacharya. So Ramanujacharya told them, see, you guys were thinking we are so detached, we have given up everything, we have given up our family, we have given up the comforts of our home, but now you are quarreling for a piece of cloth. You are thinking this belongs to me. And on the other side, Dhanurdas, who is a grihastha, living at his home with his family, with his wife, he is completely detached. He is completely surrendered to his Gurudev. So it is not the matter of our life situation, in which life situation we are. What matters is how much detachment we are cultivating, how much detachment we are developing in our heart. Now one question may come. When we are living in the family, when we are living with our spouse, children, parents, should we not show any affection to them? Should not we show any care, any love for them? Is it wrong? So the Shastras explain there is a difference between attachment and affection. There is a difference between asakti and sneha. Asakti और स्नेह में बहुत अंतर है. There is a difference in attachment and affection. What is the meaning of attachment? When I say I am attached to my child, I am attached to my son, I am attached to my wife, attachment means one is willing to do anything for their happiness, for their pleasure, for their satisfaction. Even though they may be demanding something wrong, but just to satisfy them, to make them happy, one is willing to do anything. That is attachment. Even though they are trying to do something wrong, any sinful activity, when somebody is supporting them because you don't want to make them feel bad or you don't want to hurt their feeling, so that is attachment. Like Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was so attached to Duryodhana, he was supporting every wrong activity of Duryodhana. Duryodhana said, I want to get this kingdom for myself. So Dhritarashtra along with Duryodhana, Shakuni, they made so many them alive in Lakshagraha, supported Duryodhana. Any of his also attachment. What it means, yes, you care, give them what is good for what is best for them. That is not doing, they are demanding whatever sinful activity makes them out of action. But a children or spouse who is so they can utilize their hymn of life for the best purpose. The brother, he was respecting his And when we search everywhere and find above the house of Bhishma, there is Maharani. So this is how. And then at that time, in the morning time, Brahma Muhurta time, Bhishma woke up and he was chanting the name of Ram, Ram, Ram. And Hanumanji got convinced, yes, this is the house of a devotee of the Lord. Hanuman disguised himself as a Brahmana and came there. And Bhishma opened the door. Bhishma saw a saintly person, a Brahmana, at the door. And he was thinking, who is this saintly person who has come at my doorstep? And Hanumanji introduced, I am the servant of Lord Ramachandra, I am the messenger of Lord Ramachandra. And Bhishma said, you are very fortunate that Lord Ramachandra has engaged you in your service. I am waiting for that opportunity, I am waiting for that moment when Lord Ramachandra will give me his shelter, when he will engage me in his service. See, in this Lanka, it is very difficult even to chant the holy name of the Lord. And I am living among all these demoniac people here. See how I am living among all these demoniac people. My living here among all these demoniac people in Lanka is like the tongue is living in the mouth surrounded by all these teeth. जैसे ये जीवा मुख के अंदर सब दांतों से घिरी रहती है, जैसे ही जीवा कुछ बोलती है, कुछ खाती है, उसको हमेशा ये भय लगा रहता है. Every time there is a fear to be bitten by the teeth. And Hanumanji said, don't worry. Soon Lord Ramachandra will come here. And he is the best doctor. When a patient has any problem, any disease, he goes to the doctor and doctor cures the disease. If a patient, a problem in his teeth, अगर किसी के दांत में दर्द है तो वो दांत के डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं. He goes to the dentist. And from his tongue, he speaks. अपनी जीवा से बोलते हैं कि कौन से दांत में दर्द हो रहा है. And the doctor removes that teeth. उस दांत को निकाल देते हैं. उसी प्रकार when Lord Ramachandra come here, you tell which all these demoniac people are troubling you, Lord Ramachandra is going to pluck all of those. Lord Ramachandra सबको उखाड़ कर फेंक देंगे. And Lord Ramachandra is going to give shelter to you. Shri Ramachandra Bhagwan ki jai. So Bhishma, he rejected his own brother because he was not able to give up his sinful propensities. So Bhishma rejected Ravana and came, took shelter of Lord Ramachandra. Bhishma also had affection for Ravana, no doubt. So affection does not mean we do anything and everything, whatever the other person is demanding. Affection means doing the best possible, best welfare for them, which is to engage them in Krishna's service, to give them the right understanding, remove their ignorance, to bring them out of all these illusions, these different attachments. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Kamesha Krodesha Rajoguna Samudbhava Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyainam Ehivarinam. What is the greatest enemy of the living entity? Is Kama and Krodha. Kama means asakti, attachments. Kama doesn't mean the physical lust. Kama means this asakti, these attachments. And these attachments lead to anger. When these attachments, the demands, the desires are not fulfilled, then it leads to anger. So Kamesha Krodesha, and this is born from the mode of passion, Rajoguna Samudbhava. When we come in contact with this mode of passion, all these attachments, these different material desires come, which bind us within this material world. And that is the greatest enemy of the living entity. And if we want to give up these attachments, how is that possible? When we attach ourselves to the Supreme Lord, when we attach more and more ourselves at the lotus feet of the Lord, then we gradually detach ourselves from the material world. We have so many different impressions in our mind from so many different lifetimes. इस मन के ऊपर कितने कितने impressions पड़े हुए हैं from so many different lifetimes. And Krishna consciousness means to remove these different impressions, these wrong impressions, and build new impressions. New impressions of serving the Lordship, new impressions of developing our relationship with the Lordships. Like a glass of water, if it is filled with dirty, filthy water, you start to pour fresh pure water on that glass, even though the glass is full. But as we are pouring that fresh water on that dirty water, slowly that after some time that glass will be filled with pure clean water. The same way right now, our mind may be filled with so many other filthy thoughts, wrong desires, wrong impressions. But as we are hearing Krishna Katha, as we are chanting the holy name of the Lord, slowly all those wrong impressions are getting erased and the new impressions, the clean impressions are being built. That is the purpose, that is the goal of this Krishna consciousness. So here, the son of Maharaj Chitraketu, he is explaining all these relationships in this material world, they are temporary. We come in contact with each other for a small duration of time, again we get separated. So we should not get attached to all these different things, and we should try to attach ourselves to the Supreme Lord. And the best possible way is chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chaito Darpana Marjanam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, by the chanting of the holy name, it will cleanse the mirror of the mind. Because right now there is so much dust accumulated on the mirror of mind. By this chanting, slowly, we are wiping this dust out. If there is so much dust on the mirror, we cannot see our real impression, our real reflection in that mirror. If you wipe that mirror, then we can see your reflection in that mirror. But the mirror of this mind is so contaminated, it's like millions of mile thick layer of dust accumulated on that. So slowly, with the gradual process of Krishna consciousness, with the chanting, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, we are removing that dust accumulated on the mirror of the mind. And slowly, our mind will start to become attached at the lotus feet of the Lord. And that is the success of life. Grantra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong. I'm just trying to share what I have heard from other advanced devotees, our senior Vaishnavas. Just trying to repeat. Please forgive me, please correct me if I said anything wrong. If anybody will like to add anything, please feel free. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
जो वैल्यू है, मतलब ह्यूमन लाइफ की वैल्यू हम कई बार समझते नहीं हैं और हम बाकी चीज़ों में आसक्त रहते ही रहते हैं. तो हम कैसे इस चीज़ को ज़्यादा बिल्डअप कर सकें कि हम इसकी इम्पोर्टेंस को ज़्यादा अवेयर होके लाइफ में अप्लाई कर सकें.
जी माता जी. सो माता जी की क्वेश्चन है, इवन दो वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट्स फॉर्चून ऑफ ह्यूमन बर्थ, बट हाउ वी कैन यूटिलाइज दैट फॉर्चून टू द बेस्ट पॉसिबल डिग्री. So that is possible only when we come in association of devotees. In the association of devotees, we hear the glories of the Lord more and more. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Right? The process is to hear from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam every day, to read Bhagavatam every day. In that way, gradually, we will develop more attachment to the Lord and will develop distaste for other material activities. We'll slowly start to develop detachment. So problem is, even though somebody comes in the process, they hear about the glories of the Lord, they hear about the glories of the holy name, but still they are not able to take to the process. They say, man nahi lagta, because there is so many other attachments. तो वो मन कैसे लगेगा भगवान में? गुरु महाराज हमेशा कहते हैं, the taste for the holy name will not come automatically all of a sudden. Taste will come by chanting. Right? As we chant, slowly the taste will come. Like somebody is fan of some film star, some sports person, were they born fan of that person by birth? क्या वो किसी के fan उनके अपने जन्म से पैदा होते हुए किसी के fan बनकर आए थे? How did they become fan of somebody? Somebody is fan of Virat Kohli, Sachin Tendulkar, or Amitabh Bachchan, or whoever these different people are. If somebody is fan of these people, how did they become the fan of those people? उनके नाम रूप गुण लीला को सुन के, somebody saw their photos, saw their movie, heard some of their activities, so and slowly they became attached to that particular person. उनके साथ उनको आसक्ति हो गया, उनके फैन बन गए. तो उसी प्रकार से how will we develop attachment for the Lord? भगवान के नाम रूप गुण लीला इत्यादि का श्रवण करके. जैसे जैसे हम भगवान का नाम रूप गुण लीला सुनेंगे तो हमें भगवान के साथ अट्रैक्शन होगा. विल बिकम फैन ऑफ राधा पार्थसारथी, विल बिकम फैन ऑफ श्री रामचंद्र भगवान. सो द प्रोसेस इज श्रवणम. द फर्स्ट लिम्ब ऑफ डिवोशन सर्विस इज श्रवणम. मोर वी हियर, more our ignorance will be removed and more our attraction towards the Lordship will be awakened. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Anybody would like to say anything? Yes, Prabhuji.